Hello everyone. Today we will start our last topic, that is question answers of second chapter. We all discussed in this video that what are the basic questions given in our book, NCERT book, MCQs, short answers and long answer questions. Let's begin with our very first question, that is principles of management are not. What do you think principle of management are? Let's discuss this question. Principle of management are universal, applicable? Yeah, they are applicable to everywhere. Then, is principles of management are flexible? Yeah, they can be changed as per the situation. Is principle of management is absolute? Absolute means they are in basically applied at each and everywhere, as well as they are fixed. We have to follow only these kind of principles only. Is the management principles are absolute or not? No, my dear. Management principles are not absolute. So our correct answer is absolute. So our correct answer is absolute. See, principle of management are not absolute, they are just the guidelines for the decision making in the course of management. That is, principles of management are not applied as it is in the real business situation, rather they need to be modified by the manager as per the situation and requirement. Principles are not absolute, they are generally the guidelines that you need to follow this kind of principles. Okay, next, here we begin with our next question. Let's discuss how are principles of management formed in a laboratory. Is this a science that you are forming up principles in your lab? No, my dear, this is not your answer. Then by experience of managers, yeah, as per F.W. Taylor we had learned about that he observed and experimented on different workers, different employees, as well as Mr. Henry Fayol also observed that he has worked on many managers, he has worked himself like those kind of principles. So it is generally based on by experience of managers. By experience of customers, no, we don't measure the principles on the basis of customers. By propagation of social scientists, no. So what's our correct answer is? Our correct answer is by experience of managers. Principles of management were developed over years of experiences and observations of managers, not the customers, not the social scientists, not the in the laboratories. Okay, every manager faces varying situation in real business organizations. Based on these experiments, they draw general conclusions and inferences that guide them in their action and decision making in similar situations. That is, experiences of the manager form the basis of principle. That is, principles should be managed on the basis of experience of the managers, different experience of different managers. Okay, next, the principles of management are significant because of why these principle of management is significant. Is they increase efficiency? Yeah, they increase efficiency, but this is not the optimum, this is not the end objective. What do you mean by management? Let's learn the definition. Management is a particular process which can be done in an effective or efficient manner. Means you need to utilize your resources in an optimum utilization you should to done. Then increase in efficiency, no. Initiative, no. Optimum utilization of resources, yes. Adaptation of changing technology, no. All the principles of management are significant just because they want to tell you, they want to learn you about that all the resources should be utilized in an optimum manner. You can't use your resources in an ineffective manner. Optimum utilization of resources entails employing the limited resources such as capital and labor to the best possible usage so that maximum benefit can be derived with the minimum possible cost. Principles of management help in predicting the cause and effect relationship of the decisions of the managers. So here in this answer we need to learn about only this thing, that only optimum utilization of resources is required. Our next question, Henry Fayol. Who was a Henry Fayol? We had already discussed in our class. Is he social scientist? No. Is he accountant? No. Is he production engineer? No. But he was a mining engineer. He was a mining engineer in a French based company. He was a mining engineer. Okay. Next. Question number 5. Which of the following statement best describes the principle of division of work? What is the main motive of division of work? Division of work followed on the principle that the work should be divided in a smaller task or should be divided into smaller parts or segments, so that your efficiency of work should be great, as well as all kind of work should be done by specialists. Let's see the options. Work should be divided by a smaller task. Yeah, this is describes in division of work. Then labor should be divided. No, we don't divide the labors. Resources should be divided among jobs. No. It leads to specialization. Yeah, no doubt in that division of work leads to specialization. But what's the main motive of division of work? Which is the best answer you have to give to, because this is the MCQ. This is not the all options you can take. In this option, the best relevant answer is work should be divided into smaller tasks. This is the best answer in our MCQs. Principle of division of work, work should be divided into small jobs. This is because of the fact that any complex task can be performed efficiently if it is divided into smaller units and performed by specialists. Now, next question. He or she keeps machines or materials, tools, etc. ready for operations by concerned workers whose work is described by this sentence under functional foremanship. Okay, let's discuss again functional foremanship. In functional foremanship, we had discussed about planning in charge and production in charge, two kind of specialists, and they both have four kind of separate specialists naming. In planning in charge, instruction card clerk, yeah, route clerk, then come on, time and cost clerk and disciplinarian. And in case of production in charge, you got the four specialists. What are they? Speed boss, gang boss, repair boss and inspector. Yeah. Now here, he or she keeps machines or materials to ready for operations. Your machines are ready for operation. Whose work is this? Let's see. In case of instruction card clerk, what we are doing, we are providing instructions to workers that what kind of work they have to done, how they have to done such kind of work. Okay, so this is not our option. In case of repair boss, basically you guys get confused between these two only. How? Let's discuss. In case of route clerk, first discuss route clerk. In case of route clerk, we had learned about that what is the route of production, what is the route of doing my work, what is the route I must follow to achieve my targets, to achieve objectives in an efficient and effective manner. Okay, so route clerk is also no option. Now let's discuss our difference between repair boss and gang boss. In case of gang boss, he or she is able to manage that what kind of machinery should be placed at where and when it should be used, how much it should be used, it all decided by the gang boss. But in case of repair boss, he must ensure that all kind of machinery are properly doing well, are properly serviced, they are managing properly, all kind of production is quite good. With this is all stuff deals with the repair boss. So let's read the question once again. A person who keeps machines or materials, tools or etc. ready for operation by concerned workers. Who puts ready for concerned workers? This is only done by gang boss. He can't do the repairing and all thing. He is preparing, ensuring that this particular machine is completely able for our workers. So our correct answer is gang boss. See, work of gang boss is to describe in given sentence. Gang boss is assigned the task. Gang boss is assigned the task of keeping the machine and tools ready for operations. Keeping the machine and tools ready the operations. He has to take care of the materials which are to be used by working people. On the other hand, repair boss ensures that these machines are in proper working condition. Whether these machines are doing in a good condition or not, this work should be done by repair boss. Okay, clear my friends? Next, which of the following is not a principle of management given by Taylor? Okay, let's discuss about the principles of management given by Taylor. He gave the principle science not rule of thumb. Yeah, he gave this principle which told that principles of management are generally based on the science, based on the experiments, as well as based on the universal applicability provisions. Okay, functional foremanship is not a principle, it's a technique. Is functional foremanship is a principle? No, it's a technique. Technique of scientific management. Okay, maximum not restricted output. This is what I known as a differential piece weight system. You must remember that thing. As well as this is also your maximum restricted output deals with your workers strategy, that you need to plan for more work, more production. It is also the principle of Taylor. Then harmony not discord is also the principle of Taylor. So in both options, in all options, we had decided that functional foremanship is a technique. It's not a principle of management given by Taylor. Clear my friends? See, among the options given above, functional foremanship is not a principle of management, rather it is a technique of scientific management. It is not a principle of management, rather it is a technique of scientific management. It comprises of the methods or steps to be taken to achieve a desired goal. On the other hand, other three are principles of management that acts as a guidelines for decision making in the actual practice of the techniques. Clear my friends? Remaining questions, short answers as well as long answer questions will be discussed in our next lecture. So thank you.